Hi, y'all. So today I came up with some, again, early mathematics content where I discuss with you all about five things practitioners, early childhood educators, preschool teachers, and childhood mm, parents can do to support children's mathematical development in the early years set. So these five are very important. If you all focus on these five things, try to integrate them in your child's life. Maybe your children in your classroom or the children at home. This will be very beneficial for your children's mathematical development, which is crucial for their overall development. So we'll go through what are these five things first, and we'll talk about each of them in detail. So the first one is ask children to solve real mathematical problems. That means day-to-day problems. The second one is talk openly to children about how you see maths, how you use maths. Then use interactions as opportunities to develop children's understanding of maths. Encourage children to use maths in a social and playful content. And finally, share mathematical resources with parents. So these are the five things we can do to support children's mathematical development. The first one, ask children to solve real mathematical problems. So here they have given some questions that you can ask your children or your students to, let them think real mathematics problems in day-to-day life. How many pieces of fruit or cartons of milk will we need at snack time? So, how many buckets of water are needed to fill up the water tray? Is this toy box the right shape to fit in the cupboard? So these kinds of things. So the first one is how many pieces of fruit or cartons um, will we need in the stack time? So, in this kind of question, your child should understand if we need to figure out how many cartons of milk we need during the snack time, we need to make sure how many children are there in the classroom. So, that involves the skill of counting. So, if your child understands this particular thing, if you want to figure out how many cartons of milk, you need to know how many children in the classroom, which leads for them to count how many children in the classroom. So that's a good way of involving or improving your child's counting skills. Then, how many buckets of water are needed to fill up the water tray? So this one directly involves with the measurement. Now, when it comes to the early mathematics, there are different subcategories like geometry, under that shapes and spaces, directions, measurements, counting, numbers and patterns, algebraic expressions, those things, all of them comes under this early mathematics category. So one main category is measurements. So under this category, how many buckets of water are needed to fill up the tray? So the child needs to fill up the bucket a couple of times and pour it in the water tray to figure out how many buckets of water that is needed to fill the tray. So that improves their measurement skills and estimating skills as well. Is this toy box the right shape to fit in the cupboard? So that one mainly go with the shapes, which comes under the category of geometry. So if your child understands that a particular rectangular box or a particular square-shaped, cube-shaped, or cuboid-shaped toy box is the right shape to fit in the box, that means your child has a good spatial understanding or good understanding about shapes. And also thinking about the size. If the box is too big to be inserted into the cupboard, the child should be able to understand it. Is it too small? So they learn to estimate, they learn to compare, they learn these vocabularies like large, small, big, small, not enough, enough. These words are related all to the comparing and also shapes. So, is this toy box the right shape to fit in the cupboard? If your child understands how to answer this question, that means your child has a good understanding about the shapes and geometry. So, the second way the early childhood practitioners, early childhood educators can do is talk openly to children about how to use maths. For example, share your thoughts and problem solving aloud. I am counting how many children are here today, so I know how many lunches we will need. So, this idea is basically you're using maths. So, you need to show your children or you need to show your students to what kind of things am I using maths? As a teacher, I am counting the number of children in the classroom to figure out how many lunches do we need. So the children will know if they want to figure out how many lunches they need to involve the skills of counting. They need to count now how many children are there in the classroom. So talking openly to children about how you use maths, they will also think and they will also try to integrate those points that you emphasized in the classroom when they need to. So I think you could have a good understanding about it. Talk openly to children how you use it. When you tell your children to this particular thing, I need to figure this out. So I'm going to do this particular maths operation or this particular math skill. If I want to do that, I will be counting. If I want to do this, I will be sorting. If I want to do that, I will be measuring. So different kinds of mathematical uh, categories, you can emphasize to your children in what kind of situations are you using this particular tech? In what kind of situation are you using this early math skills? So this will help the children thinking and will involve them in their situations as well. So the third one is use interactions as opportunities to develop children's understanding of mathematics. That means ask children that stimulate and extend the children's thinking and understanding about numbers, shapes, and measures. So this is more like not close-ended questions, asking open-ended questions, which helps the children to think and give an answer. But has these questions has to be related with numbers, shapes, and measures. Interactions means use interactions as opportunities to develop children's understanding. When you're talking, when you're having a conversation with some child and you want to make sure that they understands about a certain category in early mathematics, you ask open-ended questions from them regarding that particular thing. If you want to understand the how a particular child sees the subject of shapes, how much shapes does she know, how much shapes does she identify around in the classroom. You ask open-ended questions where she gets a chance to think and understand, look around, observe, and try to understand these mathematical concepts. So the next thing is encourage children to use maths in social and playful contexts. That means provide opportunities and resources to develop and extend mathematical skills during all kinds of play, taking children's needs and interests into account. So this one is very important when it comes to a preschool teacher and any sort of early childhood educator. If you're putting your child in a classroom and this try to let your children understand this mathematical concepts, different kinds of early math skills using a piece of paper and a pencil, that's totally going to be absurd. So you cannot force your children to learn all kinds of mathematical skills using, the whiteboard or the blackboard or a paper and a pencil. So you need to be involving these mathematical concepts into something playful. Try to integrate your lesson into something into some kind of play, maybe water play, sand play, block play, sensory play, whatever the type of play you're involving. your children in, try to get them outside the classroom, try to get them out of their chair and the desk, let them explore, let them learn by their own during their playtime. So, this is actually providing the right learning environment for the children is very important thing to do as an educator. If you don't provide the opportunities for the children to learn, if you don't provide the resources they need to learn, look around, observe and learn, they will not. It is your duty to provide them the opportunities, the resources. The opportunities, for example, if you don't take your children out with some cups and spoons to a sand pit or some place where there is water, they will not learn this concept of capacity. You cannot teach your children the concept of capacity inside the classroom by showing some kind of pictures or drawing pictures on the white. You need to give them some kind of container. You need to give them some kind of spoon or smaller thing to grab some water or sand and fill into a cup to understand this concept of capacity, understand this concept of volume. So, providing the resources and the opportunities will help children develop and extend mathematical thinking during all kinds of play and making sure that you make the activities or whatever the thing interesting is your duty. So, the last thing that you can do as a childhood practitioner is share mathematical resources with parents, lend pinch books, games, and other resources to parents in order to support children's mathematical learning and development at home. So you're trying your best. If you're a teacher, if you're an educator, if you're a preschool teacher, that give your best to improve your child's mathematical learning and skills in school, that's good. But if there is no support provided from the parents from home, that's the development is going to be less effective. So it's very important that you explain to the parents of the children how important it is to involve their children for different kinds of activities that improve the mathematics skills at home. So, providing them with different kinds of resources, especially books and games, and giving them the awareness how could you do this, how could you do that to improve this particular skill. If you feel like your child is not very good at counting, you can tell that particular child, okay, do this at home when you're maybe counting the eggs, putting the eggs in the carton, you count them and put one by one, involve your child in it. So just explaining through it, your child can involve in these things at home, and the parents also can support the learning. So it is your, as a teacher, as an educator, it is your duty to encourage them. It is your duty to increase awareness of the children. So yeah, those are the 5 things we need to do if you want to support the child's mathematics development in the early years that is preschool, kindergarten, playgroup, primary. Yeah, I think that's it. See you in the next one.